All praise is due unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. This is Kanawak doing a lesson in regards to the Bla-Maors, the Black Vikings, and the Black Danes. Complete. It says complied by invasion. Right. This is like the article. This is off a site, African source, Rasta Livewire. Right, which we're not Rastafarians, all right? We are Hebrew Israelites, all right? Because that whole, Selassie, he's not the Lord, all right? Selassie, that whole thing was set up, where like Marcus Garvey, he was a false prophet, right? And basically, he's a Jamaican guy. He went to Harlem, and basically, he, he had like he had a newspaper, and he had a lot of people that started to follow him, and his plan was to like buy a boat, right? To buy a boat, right? And to go to Africa, but that didn't work. So he ended up going to England, and he died, right? But basically, that whole thing was set up by the Prince Hall Masons, right? To deceive our people, right? And like that's why Selassie, when he came to Jamaica, our people were worshiping him. All the dreads, all the Rastafarians, all the dreads went down there, all right, and they were bowing down to this man. This guy is like, less than, he's like 5 feet tall, all right, and he's a Cushite, all right. So that whole Rastafarian culture is a bunch of madness and confusion, right? But I'm going to continue on my lesson, right? Because that's a whole different lesson on the Rastafarians, the Blackamoors, the Black Vikings, and the Black Danes, right? And you have like the Danites, right? That that were in Europe, and and that's a whole different thing too, right? Because it's a mystery. This is a mystery. But when you go to Genesis, so like get Genesis 49, just flowing in the spirit, see where the Rakakwadash is gonna lead. Genesis 49 verse 16, Dan shall judge his people, and as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan just means judge, right? Dan, right, which means just means judge, right? Let's look into the blue letter. Yeah, Dan, right? Judge. The fifth son of Jacob, the first of Bela, Rachel's handmaid, the descendant from the Dan. It says the tribe descendant from Dan, the son of Jacob, right? The city is the city in Dan, the most northern landmark of Palestine, right? That's where the whole Samson, he's a Danite, right? And he was also a judge. Dan shall be a serpent that by the way, and the adder in the path. The biter, it said the biteth the horse's heel, right? And Dan, their whole logo is the serpent, right? You look at the tribe of Dan, their symbol is the serpent, right? With their symbol, right? And an adder in the path that biteth the horse's heel, right? And basically the horse's heel is the so-called Roman Empire, right? And their whole power structure that's gonna be taken from them, all right? So that his rider shall fall backward. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord, and that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that salvation, man. right? Because we are oppressed, and we're and they're the Edom, because Esau, he got his blessing, man. You know, this is Esau's blessing, man. The fatness of the earth, right? And like that's why this whole thing, this whole birthright, right? Esau's mad because he lost his birthright in Genesis 25, verse 21, right? Genesis 25. I'll just read verse 23, right? Or start at 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, "If it be so, why am I thus?" Right? So when Isaac and Rebekah, right, when they're you know making love or constipated, or when they were making love, right, and they were you know like Rebecca, she was pregnant, right? And she didn't know what was going on in her stomach, right? But it was like sharp pains, right? And the children struggled together within her, and she said, "If it be so, why am I thus?" And she went to inquire of the Lord, right? So the Lord, right, the Heavenly Father, right, He sent an angel, to you know, like to let like to on the slacker to let Rebecca know what's I'm like what's gonna happen in the future, right? So I'm gonna drink some water, Salakia. And the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other, right? And the elder shall serve the younger. So we're the strongest, right? We're the like we are the first creation of the Heavenly Father. We're the gods, right? And we're the ones that have the supremacy, man. Right? Even though we're in a lower state, our genetics, everything, how we conduct ourselves, right? Like we are way like superior. Even though Jake, we're in a low state, right? But we're still superior, right? The Israelite man is superior, and the elder shall serve the younger. And who's the elder? Esau, right? He's gonna serve us, right? And that's the time that we're approaching. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, right? So twins, right? So like they were fraternal twins, right? So even though uh like they came out of Rebecca's womb, all right, you have Jacob, right, where he was dark, right, and then Esau. It's like a Esau came out first, all right, and then Esau means it means wasted away, right, because his pigmentation was taken, right, because that was the curse of Cain. So it shows you that the Heavenly Father is the one that controlled that, right, because Cain slew his brother Abel. So like that's why Cain lost his pigmentation, right? And there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, right? So where Esau means Edom, right? Red is the crimson, right? He's the crimson man, all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau, right? He wasn't actually hairy, right? But even though when he grew up, he was actually hairy, but he was like probably wearing like like goat skin, or you know or like ox skin, right? And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, right? So basically, like this where Esau came out first, right? But Jacob held his hand. He held Esau's heel, right? So basically, this is spiritual. That like when you take someone's heel, you know, you're just dragging them out of power, and basically like that's what's gonna happen, right? It says Second Ezra 6 and 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So basically, like this is we're approaching, and his name was called Jacob, right? Like Jacob just means supplanter, and Isaac was 3 score years old when he bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man in the field, right? So Esau, he's a man that goes hunting, with his gun, his he's doing his thing, right? Like that's Esau. Esau, he goes out there in the woods. He goes out there and he go shoot he shoots deer, you know, buffalo, and you know like that's Esau's his spirit, man. All right. And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tent, and that's us. Like we're just chill. We like to just relax, build. We literally like to chill, build, actually build too, relax, drink wine, you know, and spend time with our family, right? Our children, our woman, right? But Esau the man that is always on the hunt, right? And Isaac loved Esau, right? So the Lord, right? Isaac, right, which means he laughed, right? Because because Abraham, right, and Sarah, Sarah, she laughed, at the angel, right? Because she was in a like she was of an old age, right, in their 90s, right? So the angel, so like she laughed at the angel. So the angel said, yeah, I'm gonna call your son Isaac, which means he who laughs, right? He laughs, right? And we know, in the spirit that Isaac is Yahushai, right, the Savior. But he loved, but because he did eat of his venison, because he saw, look at guys like Chef Ramses, and these like cooking shows where these Edomites are cooking. They're very good at cooking, man. All right. But Rebecca loved Jacob, right? So Rebecca is a Jacob is a like mama's boy, right? Because that's our spirit, right? Jake is is total mama's boy, and the sold Jacob sod pottage, and Esau was faint from the field, right? And basically he sod pottage, right? So it's like he stew something up, all right, you know, and probably had like some some stew, probably some some game like venison or deer or whatever. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Behold, was his name called Edom, which means wasted away, right? And to just he couldn't wait for the food to just be prepared, right? He wanted it now, right? And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? Right? So he despised his birthright, man. He despised it, right? He didn't regard it, all right? Yeah. So Jacob, he's like, yeah, all right, I'm going to take that birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. What profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage and lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up, went his way, and thus Esau despise his birthright, and that's what he did. All right, and there's no turning back. All right, he sold his birthright to his brother Jacob, and Jacob is gonna is gonna get is gonna take the kingdom. Is gonna get the kingdom. But you know, this is like a segue, right, to this lesson: the Blackamoor, the Black Vikings, and the Blacks Danes, right, right, because the whole when you watch the Vikings, right, Vikings, I think there's like 5 or 6 seasons, right, very good, very good, movies and series. So like a series, very good series to watch. If you haven't watched it, I suggest you watch it. Right, but spoiler alert if you haven't watched it. But basically, there's a guy named Fluky, and Fluky he came to the Americas, right, because he was over there in I think they were in like Norway, that region, and basically like Fluky, he basically he started getting visions of the Lord, right? And basically, he isolated himself, and he was also a shipbuilder, right? And basically, he went to Iceland, right? And he established his own little, his little, his temple, a shrine, right? Because basically, he was trying to like worship the Lord or whatever, right? Very good thing if you watch it on YouTube or you watch it on Netflix, right? The Vikings, very good. But basically, they started fighting against each other, started eating whales and all kind of different stuff, and basically, he ended up going to Newfoundland, right? Because there's a whole settlement, right? If you go on the internet, put Newfoundland settlement, like a Viking settlement, that's our people. And basically, there's a tribe of Gad, Reuben, and the other 10 tribes, like that were already inhabited North America, South America, the Caribbean, right? But, very good series to watch. Very good series to watch, man. And, because that was us, right? It says the illustrious Vikings Varangian troops near Moscow is from the Chronic of Skylis. He was a Greek historian, dead 11 AD, 1100 AD, right? So this is from Moscow, right? And they're still they still have our monuments, and a lot of our monuments and our castles, right, was built by our people, right? They will call them the Tartarians and all that. That whole thing was set up by our people. The whole Moorish architecture throughout throughout Europe, right, and throughout the world, throughout Asia, and as well as throughout America and Canada, right. A lot of these castles and these architecture was built by our people, right? And that's why everything is coming out. That show, that movie that came out called The Book of Clarence, a very good a very good movie, right? I thought it was gonna be like a blasphemy, but it basically was, right? But if you haven't watched it, I suggest you watch it. I don't wanna think, but a very good movie. I would say like 8 out of 10. All right, very good. It's like more like a comedy, and it's serious too, right? It's balanced, right? But you gotta pick you gotta like chew the basically, like you have to basically chew the meat and spit out the bones, right? It's like, yeah, getting some water. And that's the Blackamoor Negro, an Ethiopian, right? Which Ethiopian, it just means a burnt face, right? Ethiops or Atopes just means burnt face, all right? Cause that's what Esau does, right? He changes names of places, all right, and he names it after himself, right? Because that's Esau. It says rings. It says 364 ring to AD Slaka. Blackamoor Negro in Ethiopian references AD 1152 AD. It said distinguishes from the Sorceran and the Arabian. The three black were sent as a present to the German Emperor Frederick II. In romance, black men are mentioned as kind of Berskin, right? Because there is the whole Berbers, right? That had ships, right? And they had they call it the Black Guard, right? That Jake were in power from 711 AD, right, to over basically I think it's over like 700 years throughout Spain, throughout Morocco, right? The whole of North Africa, right, was set up by us, right? But they were under that whole Islamic regime, right? Because that whole Islam was set up by Muhammad, right? That were you had the Crusaders that were fighting for power. You had these different orders, like the Order of Santiago, the Knights Templars, and all these stuff that were fighting for Jerusalem. But you had Ishmael, all right, that were inhabiting the land, right? Because basically 70 AD, like 70 AD is when a lot of our people had to flee, from Jerusalem, all right, and basically from like from when we were basically under the whole Romans, right? A lot of our people went into captivity. Some of them were into the whole gladiator games and all that stuff. So we eventually fell, right? We eventually fell, and some of our people, they went into Carthage. That's why there's gonna be a movie about Hannibal, or of Hannibal Barca, right? That Denzel Washington's gonna play, right? Which it's gonna be a very good movie, right? Because he was his father, right? Were fighting to this. Our people were fighting to destroy the Roman Empire, right? Hannibal Barca, and then Hannibal, all right, of Carthage, all right, and he brought a whole host, armory, including his elephants, all right, and they went through like the Alp, what do you call it? I think the Atlas Mountains, or the basically like if you read or watch stories about Hannibal, right, he's a warrior, right? He's like a tactician, right? But this is like a very good good article. All right. Um, the Irish analysts were a lesson to all with their with all their divination of Norse invaders into white foreigners, right? Norwegian, Fingals, and black foreigners and Danes, all right, which means dub, all right, just means dub, which means like black or dark. But it was a basically the whole the Vikings. They they captured, all right, all these concubines, all these Edomite women, all right, and basically if they destroyed a lot of the men, or like they had them as servants, right? The men and the woman, right? Right. So basically, like the Edomites were under us for over 1,000 years, right? And we were superior, right? But Jake, right now, as a nation, we are inferior. We are very low. Even though Jake, guys like Floyd Mayweather and Michael Jordan and all these different so-called leaders, all right, or entertainers, Jay-Z and all that, even though they're doing very good, they are all compromised because they have to do a lot of evil, like to get ahead in this society, all right. But us, as hopeful members elect, like we're not gonna go into the left hand side, the dark side, right? Because this is this is a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual fight, all right. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share this link in the description, Lord's will, all right. And I also, all right, I posted this on my community section, all right. GMS Yasha Allah, all right. It says the emperor, it says the imperial crown of the Holy Roman Empire, made in the late 10th or early 11th century. This Byzantine style octagonal crown is made of 22 karat gold and Salakia, and decorated with 144 precious stones. Emperors were crowned with it from the 11th century to the dissolution, Slaka, to the dissolution of the emperor of the empire in 1806. Right. So all this is our artifacts, right? And these are our actual crown, right, of an emperor, right, of Jake, that were in rulership, right? And they have all our records, our artifacts. That's why I'm gonna get you this. I didn't want this lesson to be so long, but let's see. Jeremiah. Yeah, Jeremiah 8, verse 1. All right, the sin and the treacherous, the sin and the treacherous, it's like the sin and the treachery of Judah, all right? Or it's like the sin and the treachery of Judah, all right? You know, it, like that's what we're doing, all right, as a nation, man, all right? And that's why the Lord, he's punishing us, right? Because we had all the wealth, the power, right? But Jake, even during the Dark Ages, man, all right, our people were going off, right, doing a lot of wickedness, right, and like that's why the Lord he gave Jake a time to rule, right? But basically, we're doing a lot of evil, man. We're doing a lot of evil, man. All right, throughout Europe, throughout the world, all right, and that's why the Lord he got tired. At that time, saith the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of the princes, and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem, out of their graves. And that's what happened, man. Right? Because they even have our land, all right, and they're finding our artifacts, our everything, man, and they have them at these private museums, these like all these museums throughout the world, all right, of our they actually have our bones, all right, of our people, of kings, all right, kings of Judah, they're the kings of Jerusalem, right, the northern tribes, right. So and even during the Dark Ages, they have all our artifacts. So you know, that's why, man, you Edomites are gonna have a lot of things to pay for, man. They shall spread them before the sun and the moon, and all the hosts of heaven, whom they have loved, and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. And they shall not be gathered nor buried, they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth. And that's what happened, right? That they have our bones of our people, man, all right? And they're doing DNA tests, they're doing a lot of shit, right? Because our people are still into the whole, you know, into the whole dark arts, right? And they're worshiping these different gods, different idols, right? For fame, for power. And death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of them that remain of this evil family, which remain in all places, whether I have driven them, saith the Lord. And that's what happened, man. All right, the Lord got tired of our bull BS. All right, and basically we had to serve, right? Jake, like, we're the ones that built all these stuff throughout Europe, throughout the Americas, right? And this is Kilberg, I think that's Germany, right? Right, the Holy Roman Empire, man, right? And they have like the Moriscos. It's like they have like the Moorish architecture. They have all the stuff, man. You know, and Esau doesn't want to acknowledge that, right? But you know, this Anglo-Saxon burial mound. It's a princely burial in the 6th and 7th century. All right, so they have all this, man. The artifacts, the art, the jewelry, the actual the people that were buried. They have all that, right? And this is a night, right, of the Holy Roman Empire of throughout Germany, right? You know, but yeah. So with that, let us say our praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, the bonds, the apostles of Great Millstone, peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.